Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Founder to Founder podcast. My name is Felicia Wright, and I am here with Alexis and Rachel from I3 Academics in Orlando, Florida. So thank you so much for being on the podcast. I'm so excited to hear from you guys and how I3 Academics started.
Thank you for having us.
Of course, yeah. I love hearing from people on the ground doing the work and working with the babies because it's so important to hear from us as founders.
Absolutely.
So one thing what I want to start with is that right now they're doing an MLK project, and on the wall over there's a quote, and it's written, and it says, "Our lives begin to end the day we become silent about things that matter." And I think it was so fitting for this interview. So tell us how I3 Academics first came about.
Yeah, so we are both former public school teachers. And we were actually partner teachers at a public school, and that's how we met. And I taught reading and writing for many years. Fifth grade in particular is when I started to see an extreme gap between where they should be and where they came and were. And I wasn't afforded the ability to close that gap. It was more so get them prepared for the state assessment. Fifth grade's a heavy testing year. They have assessments in every subject area. And so I was tasked with teaching reading to students who struggled to read. And I wasn't able to go and kind of hit those fundamentals the way that I knew that I needed to. I almost taught them how to just take the test and to get through and not preparing them for society. And that became tiresome.
Would you agree?
Absolutely, and just to piggyback and add a little bit to that story, I always wanted to have my own school.
Yeah.
Growing up, that was always my vision to do so. I think being in the public education setting, it pushed me towards this way. Because once you're in that setting, it's like, okay, I can do this, but then constantly it's like, okay, I can do more. What can I do more? What can I do more? The kids aren't getting social emotional learning. The kids aren't getting a lot of the hands-on. So that kind of pushed us really out, right? We're getting to the point where, like Ms. Collins, or like Alexis said, that we are tired of just like teaching, testing, right? The kids are missing so much. So, but it was always a passion and always a goal of mine to open my own school and to do things my way and bring in creativity.
And the part that I love about talking to founders so much is that bringing in that creativity, knowing what the kids need, and doing the things that the kids love. Because at least in my experience, when I was in the classroom, I couldn't bring in as much creativity that I wanted to bring in. And I can see it all around us, like on the walls with your students. So that's the part that's like chef's kiss that I love.
Yeah.
So my next question to you is, when you look at the families you serve, what's the truth about their needs that the traditional system still refuses to face, in your opinion?
I would go first on that one. Yeah. I think with our families, we have a lot of diverse families, a lot of students that have a lot of diverse needs. So we have students with IEPs, we have some students that don't have IEPs, and they need a lot of, some students that need a lot of hands-on attention. And so being in a micro school and having that ability to do so versus the public school, where it's like those kids are separated, right? So they're normally either in an ESC classroom, they are integrated within a regular classroom, but then they miss that one-on-one time because it's so packed. So I think the public school setting can learn how to get it smaller, like make the classroom smaller and integrate those students that have all of those IEPs and all of things to make it a cohesive classroom. And I think that's what micro schools have the ability of doing here.
Absolutely. I think there's an intentionality behind what we do in that we're a small class, not small group, because you're able to close gaps that way because it's consistently over a longer period of time versus a few minutes each day, maybe. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that's really important.
I really like that you make that distinction, the difference are small group versus small class, because I know the parents that I've talked to, like, they know that they're being pulled out for a small group, but they don't know what that looks like in practice.
Right.
So in practice here at I3 Academics, what does the small classroom look like here?
It looks like integration. So all of our students working to collaborate together. but also having that time where we work and pull them individually. But they're still in the classroom. So, like, for instance, in math, I can be teaching, or I am teaching fractions right now, but I differentiate that based on the grade level. So they have their opportunities where they can work together, but then I can pull, while one student's doing their class grade level work, I can pull another student and work one-on-one with that student. And that gives students with different abilities to still collaborate together, but still get that one-on-one.
And that looks similarly in reading too. So
Okay.
the topics are the same, just their almost outcomes are different depending upon their grade level. But we are teaching up for sure.
Yes.
So
I love that. Yeah, I love when educators talk about teaching to the child versus to the mass.
Yes.
I think when I started as an educator, and I'm sure you guys can relate, I was teaching to the mass, teaching to the middle, really. And as educators, we all know what teaching to the middle is. So
Yeah.
teaching to the middle
Yeah.
is the middle of the lane kids, and then the ones that are lower, we try to get them in group, and then the ones that are higher, they're just going to be okay. Yeah.
And back to your first or your second question about our families, we have a few families who needed that enrichment, right?
Mhm.
Their kids got it. And so they were just, okay, you're good. Just stay there, right? Don't
Rock
drop.
it out.
But I'm not going to do anything to enrich you either because I can't, because I have all these kids who are behind. And enrichment doesn't just look like more work, right? And so then those kids become disinterested and don't like school, right? So we have families that came to us saying like, hey, we need our children to be enriched, to be pushed, for their whole self to be, challenged,
Yeah.
creativity, creatively, academically, emotionally, socially.
Yeah.
So we see that in some of our families.
And one thing you just did right now, which I love, is that you were reaching for that word and she finished it for you. But that's the beauty of this partnership. It's like we can't be everything.
No.
That we need people to lean on
Yeah.
to help us.
I don't know where I would be without Alexis. We help balance each other out tremendously. Where my weaknesses are, she's stronger, and I think a lot of people, if they have the ability to step back, right? If I'm not good in that area, then if she's good in that area, to step back. And I think that's why we work so well together, is because we don't try to overstep. If she is excellent in that area, I know how to let her, and then I can go off and do something that I can contribute in my areas, and that keeps us our partners strong.
Yeah, I love that. I just have to call that out.
Yes.
That's how it works.
But there's something that you said that was pretty profound that I think that we forget a lot of the times, is that enrichment doesn't mean more work.
Absolutely.
I know when I first started, that's actually what I thought, because I wasn't trained any other way. I thought it just meant give them more work, more challenging work. So for parents out there, what does enrichment mean for you guys?
Exposure. I think having exposing kids to things that they haven't necessarily seen before, giving them the ability to explore on their own. Right.
Yeah.
Some of our kids come with their own ideas. We're not always introducing it to them. Right. So if they have their own idea, I think one of our students was like, Miss Flash, when I was driving to school or work at school with my dad, and the cloud was dark. What is that cloud? What does this mean? Right. They bring in the ideas to me, and then we can research and piggyback off that idea and learn and explore something that I may not even know as well, right? I'm learning too. So also doing that, and then our passions, where kids can explore if you want to.
Yeah, so passion, each of our students has a passion, right? Something they're interested in. And so what they do for the entire week is they spell it out to where they're teaching their classmates about their passion. So we've done culinary, we've done sewing, we've done playwriting, and actually at the end of the week they do that thing. So they do the play, which took a couple of weeks, or they sew the pillowcase, or they make the pizza. And so that's tapping into another side of them, but also it's tying in all the things cross-curricular, right? Reading, math, science, writing,
social, emotionally working together, partnerships, learning all those skills in one.
Yes. So that's super exciting, and it's nice to tap into that side and go deeper with these students. Yeah.
Because I would say, like, in a lot of schools, they don't have that opportunity to go deeper with those things, if any of those things. So I love that you mentioned that, because I think with parents through this podcast, I think there's this awakening happening where it's like, wait a second, there's other ways to do this.
Yes.
And my kid can participate in it.
Yes.
So that's why these conversations are so important.
And I think as educators too, we had to learn that because especially in the public school setting, I had to unlearn a lot of things. Like, wait, there's another way to do this. Wait, there's another option. I don't have to, because even with teachers, students aren't one size fit all, and teachers also aren't one size fit all.
Yes.
And we can get stifled in that building, in that space where we have to kind of march to a certain beat. But here we have autonomy to do more than and bring more things and more exposure to the kids. So that's what I love too.
Yeah, and before we started filming, we talked about like how I love first grade, the babies, and they're like, oh no.
No.
So for everybody, what grades do you serve currently?
Yes.
So currently we serve 2nd through 6th grade students. Yes.
Right outside of the realm that I love. So again, we all have our strengths and our weaknesses, right?
Yes. That was very intentional for us.
Yeah.
I think based off of our career paths
Absolutely.
of the grade levels that we've served, and also what we saw the need. Those are heavily, not 2nd grade, but 3rd through 6th, heavily tested grades. And so we start to see a lot of test anxiety, a lot of stress on parents. What does this mean that my child might get held back in 3rd grade? What's that going to do for them socially? 5th grade, are they going to go to middle school? Are they ready for middle school? So we were very intentional with picking those grade levels, not just because, because, but that's where we see the need.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. And that's where your expertise is.
Yeah,
as well.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I was like, 5th grade? No.
All day. Give me the 5th grade.
Give me the babies.
Please. Yeah, no babies.
So if you could remove one barrier that harms students, what would it be and why?
If I could remove one barrier, I would say having access.
Okay.
I feel like a lot of things, our students are prohibited from certain things because they don't have access to certain things.
Okay.
And
so smart.
So our community of students, we deal with students that, need more exposure, right? And so trying to provide that, not letting that be a block, a stumbling block, right? Providing the things that they may not get to see. And that's not our students, all students really need more exposure that they may not get in the public school setting. So just providing them with things like I wanted to do like a 3D printer. Or like something, or that's a small one, but like something where they can have and see and do on their own and discover on their own. I think we're limited because we don't have access to a lot of things. It's not readily available. So if I could, that's a barrier I would stop. Where there's maybe like a teacher library or something where we can go and have more access and grab from things that we need, check it out, put it back, right? And so our students aren't missing anything because they don't have the access to it.
That's really good.
What would be yours?
Ooh, okay, a barrier.
Mm-hmm.
Can you ask me a full question?
Yeah. If you could remove one barrier that harms students, what would it be and why?
Okay, this would be more so a mindset shift for our students.
Okay.
Because of the way that they've been kind of indoctrinated into school. So throughout my career, and even now, we've had to do a lot of unlearning in that our kids are afraid to be wrong. And so that can hinder their access to learning, right? Because they're so afraid of being wrong. Because being wrong has been so weighty. Oh, I'm a level 1, right?
Yes.
Oh, I'm in this class now. Oh, I'm labeled. So I'd rather not answer at all. Right? Or if I do answer and I'm wrong, I'm defensive. And so now I'm shutting down.
Yeah.
So even here in a space where we encourage, please be wrong. Like
Yes.
that's where learning starts and you
Takes
grow.
place, yeah.
There's a lot of unlearning that even our students have had to do and are still doing. Like, hey, it's okay because we're here. That's the whole point. So I think that we really need to do a better job because that translates right into society, right? Somebody who's you're hard on yourself, right? You can't take criticism. And what type of human is that, right? Not one that's growing.
Yeah.
So I think that if I could take that away or start to take some of the pressure off of learning, I think that would be
the
You
barrier.
guys are dropping some serious right now. It's like, so good, so good.
I like that. Yeah.
So traditional schools often label kids instead of understanding them. From your vantage point, what labels do most harm? What should we replace them with, if at all?
Yeah, I think I was talking to you about this earlier.
Yeah.
I'm getting my master's, and we had a lot of debates. We debated a lot of topics, policies that Florida has, right? And it's a lot of things that we need to change. There's a lot of groundwork that needs to be done. So I would say starting with the policies.
Okay.
Starting somewhere, I know, and getting to the ground and getting there and making sure that we have a voice, we have a say in those things. Teachers really don't have a say. There's a lot of people that are making those decisions for us
Yes.
in the public setting, in the school setting, that the teachers really don't have a say.
Mhm.
So getting our voices, letting our voices be heard, the people that are on the ground, the people that are in the classroom, the people who are experiencing it firsthand, getting them to advocate and say what the students and what the teachers and what we all need in order for the public schools and even us to grow.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think to dive deeper into what implementation looks like, I think we talked about that. Like, a lot of our students have these well-written IEPs, but then it's just handed off. Okay, now execute that thing.
Yeah.
And so I think there needs to be more conversation about what implementation actually looks like and what those checkpoints
Okay.
should be measuring.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I think also too bringing that knowledge not only to the teachers who are supposed to execute, but also the parents, because they don't know what it should look like and how to advocate for that.
Yeah. I love that you brought up policy, because I talk about that with policymakers and stuff. Like, this is why this podcast exists, because sometimes they have trouble finding us.
Yeah.
And like, they're like, who do we talk to? It's like, I have the solution for you. Because it's so important that we talk about these things. And I always say we're better together.
Yes.
So let's get together and start having these conversations.
And shout out to Dr. Hines at UCF. She used to teach us to push back, right?
Okay.
Don't just take it,
Mhm.
right? Because a lot of our my cohort are there in the public setting. Don't just take it. If you see something that's being implemented incorrectly with the IEPs and everything like that, push back.
Yeah.
And that's not always received.
Because there's
from
fear.
yeah. And so, but if more teachers did it,
Mhm.
right, and come together and push back on certain things that we see that aren't happening correctly in the public school setting, then it'll make a change. And I think that's what we did. We kind of started there, right? We kind of just rebelled a little bit
Okay, tell me
because
more
we
about
were.
that.
I mean, we were top educators,
Okay.
so
Highly effective.
highly effective in the public setting, if that even means anything. We were highly effective. Our kids made tremendous growth throughout the year. They would start maybe at a level 1, at the end they were level 4 or 5, right? So we were respected in that way.
Yeah.
But we seen things weren't, when we got out of the classroom, when we got into administration, we saw that things weren't going, oh, like, wait, what's this? Like, wait, this is how they do the IEPs. This is how it goes in the meetings. This is what the conversations are behind the scenes. And so we wanted to do more. But we were stifled. And so we decided to do something on our own. So pushing back, letting them know that, yeah, if you don't listen to my voice, I can go out and I can create another space. Right? It's not just this space that teachers have. We can create additional spaces, like a microschool.
Yeah. How would you suggest other teachers and even parents push back?
Showing up to the board meetings.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, right. Those meetings are public.
Yeah, they are.
Speaking back, are going to the schools.
Yes, because it's just a top down, right? So then this person's answers to this person answers to this person, and so a lot of times the people who are making the decisions haven't been on the ground in a long time, and they're not talking to the right people in terms of implementation. So I think definitely as a teacher, if you're feeling like this isn't right or my students aren't responding to that, data is like your best piece of evidence to hit them with the data. Show them, hey, I've tried your way. It's not working. Here's the data to show why. Because that speaks volumes to people, especially who aren't on the ground anymore, who are making the decisions. That's what I would say.
What have you seen in your students that tells you we're measuring the wrong things in education?
Joy.
Okay.
That's my answer too.
Oh,
I had to put that down. Yeah.
Joy.
joy.
I put joy and happiness. Yeah.
Yeah. While we do believe measures are important,
Yes.
right? That shows us where to start and how to help a student grow. doesn't tell the whole story.
Mm-hmm.
And to build up their confidence first, and take your time with them and get creative. Nobody likes reading. I think I have one student who's like really like, yeah, Miss Collins, I love reading. But we've tapped into so many things creatively. Like they've created their own movies based on plot structure, and they create their own stories based off of a character and the lesson that they learn, right? So it's taking the content, expounding upon it to where they're able to tap into their creativity and enjoy it. And at the end of it, it's not, what did I get? Did I get 100? I don't think we've ever even talked about that. And they're just so proud of the work that they produce as we break down the pressure attached to the outcome. And thus we see joy. I feel like that makes sense.
Yeah, I like that. I would say two things. One is parents tell us.
Yeah.
They tell us, they give us their reports saying, oh, our kids didn't want to wake up for school. They cried every morning. We have certain students here that cried before school. Now they are excited to go. They can't wait to go come to our school. So that's one thing that I know that we're being successful. Another way, academically and socially, emotionally, I would say, just seeing them work through their problems. Problem solving together. If they have a problem of something arise, right? Because they're kids, right? They're going to have a little bit of conflict. But in the mornings when we come in, we do morning meetings. We have them do building on their, like if you have a conflict, how can you talk it through, right? We do prompts. They talk it together, and we don't run it. They run it. They have their conversations if they need us. We kind of help them, guide them. And then we do a lot of collaboration activities, a lot of building things together. So seeing them problem solve we can step back if there's a little conflict between them. We watch them solve it on their own, and that for me is success because in the public school setting we couldn't do that, and students didn't know how to problem solve, and that's another thing that is very important when you're learning academically. You don't know how if something's bothering you in that day. If a student sitting next to you is doing something to aggravate you, then you can't learn, right? Your focus is off. So being able to work through those problems and problem solving it and right back to it is what I would say is successful here.
So I'm going to ask you a question, and it's okay if you don't have an answer for this one. So when you say measuring joy, is there a way to measure joy? And should we be measuring it? Because a lot of people that are against school choice are like, well, we need data, we need this, that, and the third to make sure it's successful. Is there a way to measure joy in your opinion? Or should we even be measuring it?
Ooh, that's such a question.
Like
that
for
doesn't
data
look the
purposes,
same.
you know?
I feel like that's inauthentic. I feel like forced. But it comes out of the structures and systems put into place to foster that.
Yes.
In addition to academics, right? Because we do believe measuring academics is important, but that's not the end all be all.
Agreed.
Hard
question.
I think measuring joy. I think we don't measure it. It's hard to measure joy, right? Because it shows up in different ways. I'm a person where I can be happy, but I'm just like, it's not on my face, so it's not measurable. But I think you can measure by what I said with the parents telling us, right? Yeah. Our parents coming back and letting us know, hey, my child didn't want to go to class or didn't like going to school, right? But now they're excited to come. Now they don't push back. And so giving all kids an opportunity, right? Because it's hard to wake up in the morning, go straight to class, and then you're learning for all these days and you're not happy. And so giving microschools, I think our microschool provides the opportunity for kids to come in, not have to get right to it, to kind of breathe a little bit. Slow start. Yes. Yeah. And so I think that gives them the will to want to learn when they have more autonomy.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. And thank you for attempting to ask that question. Honestly, it's a question that I've heard in a lot of different spaces of like, well, microschools are saying that their kids are more joyful and they're coming to school. Well, how do we know that? So that conversation is ongoing, and I always wonder what other founders believe.
And To answer that, one more thing I'm going to do, because you're really good at this too. We had printed a curriculum, and every week on Friday they get to tell us. They get to tell us how their week was.
Oh, like a survey.
Like a survey.
Okay.
And then they're truthful.
Yeah, how much choice did you have in your learning?
Yeah, what can we do better?
Yeah.
And so I think giving them a choice where they can even rate us.
Yeah.
And we can go back and self-reflect and see what changes we can make here at I3. So I think just by giving them a way to express themselves, we can keep making sure they're happy.
Right. And retention too. Like I think that's a huge measure, right? Because this isn't a zone school. You go here year after year. No, your parents are choosing, right? Yes. And hopefully based off of what the child wants and paying.
Yeah.
You know, so I think that's proof that, okay, something's happening here where a child is truly enjoying learning. Yeah. So that's measurable.
Yeah, I love that. So parents often come to you after being dismissed or they are not happy with their educational environment. What's a misconception educators or even policymakers still have about families that you work with or that choose an alternative method of education for their kids?
That they don't have a voice. And they don't have rights, and they're not the decision makers for their kids. That's a huge misconception.
Yes.
And I think we're figuring that out now with school choice being a big thing in Florida, is that parents' voices matter. Because a lot of our Orange County, the population it's went down. A lot of students have unenrolled, parents have a voice. And so now I think we need to start listening and hearing what they want and seeing how we can revamp the educational system from the ground up, because they have autonomy now. And so I think that's a huge mistake that the policymakers aren't tapping into, is that parents really have a choice. They can homeschool their kids, they can put them in microschools. There's plenty of choices out there, and they're taking advantage of those choices now.
Right. There's not only one way to prepare a child for the future. And I think that for a long time it was public school, right?
Yes.
If your child is on the trajectory for college, it's public school. But these college professors are saying that these children cannot read.
Yes.
They do not know how to write, right? And even in the high school. So I think that there's this misconception that, okay, unschooling in a way, it's, they're not getting the rigor. And that's something that is so important to us, right? Our children are learning complex topics, cloud seeding, like we go deep into, all of the reading standards and really dive deep to not memorize, but to understand. Like our children really understand what it is to analyze text, right? Not just to answer a question right after. And so even though what we have looks different, I would put our kids up against anybody else in preparation for life.
Yes.
Yeah, so I think that breaking that mindset that there's only one way to prepare.
If the U.S. Education system was built from the ground up today, what's the one thing you'd change? I know, you only get one.
I would go back to special education and the inclusion.
Okay.
Making sure because I feel like public education or the public setting could run like this.
I agree.
Right? So for me, it's how can we make it more inclusive? How can we make it more small, more tailored? Right? That's what I would change. I would not give a classroom teacher 20 plus kids where she's feeling or he's feeling overwhelmed and can't get to all of those students' needs. So I would revamp it where it's smaller. Maybe no more than 10 kids a classroom, inclusion, making sure so they don't have to be pulled out, right? And the teachers don't have to worry about if I met this student's needs today. So smaller classes, but more inclusion.
What's your one thing?
The one thing that I would change, and I'm completely blanking on, let me think.
That's okay.
The one thing I would change would be the measures of effectiveness in terms of the policy.
Okay.
Right? I think that the policy is made, it's implemented, how long do we wait
Mm-hmm.
to see if it's effective?
Okay.
What measures are we taking to see if it's effective? Is it broad? Like, are we measuring across and in depth? And then what's always hurt me as an educator is these are children's lives
Yes.
affected by the policy
Yes.
that we're measuring if it's
Mhm.
working
Yes.
as they continue on. And that's sad.
Mm-hmm.
So how long? How long do we wait?
And that's what my professor brought up too during our debate courses. That was one of her things. That's a good point. If it's not good, do we scrap it right away? Do we keep going? How many years does it take before we, move on to the next thing? Or is it good to move on to the next thing and don't see it through? So that's a very good one, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So for my next question, I wanted to know from you guys, what do you want parents out there to know about I3 academics? What's super important that they know about your program?
I think there's a misconception when moving from public school to a different model of school that your child is missing something that the public school had to offer, whether that be specials or recess time, PE. And I just want our families to know that they're getting everything that they would get in public school and more. Right? It just looks different, right? We have plenty of outside time. We have plenty of arts and crafts and time for creativity. And we still have the rigor, and we still put the child first, and we still honor their autonomy, and we still honor our responsibility in teaching the standards. So all of that can exist in one school that is I3.
I like that. I would say that we tailor to the whole child. So similar to what you're saying, we make sure that whatever that child individual needs are, that we're tapping in and meeting those needs. We take pride in meeting with our parents when they enroll. We sign and we meet with them one-on-one. We discuss our students with them to get a feel of what they're looking for, what the parents are looking for, what the students may need. And so trying to make sure we feel like a family here, making sure our parents feel loved and received, and they make us in turn feel the same way, that we want to build a community where it's a family. That would be one thing I would want our parents and maybe our future parents to know, that we want our school to feel like a family, and then that we're teaching to the whole child. So basically social emotional growth, a lot of hands-on, a lot of creativity. And if you're a microschool parent already, then how do we differentiate ourselves from even other microschools is that we are a unit.
Yeah,
I think what we bring to the table, just us together, where she taps in on reading and I tap in on math and science. We make sure that we still collaborate and do cross-curriculum, but we still work together, but we have our own individualities. And so that just helps bring that out with the kids as well.
Yes, and that unit is on full display here. So this has been so much fun. To wrap things up,
Yes.
what do you wish more people were talking about when it comes to education as a whole? What are we missing?
That education doesn't look one way. Again, I think it goes back to what we said. It's not a one size fit all. That it's multiverse. Like it can be a school that teaches multicultural horses. It doesn't have to be me sitting at a desk, a worksheet in front of me learning a certain way. I feel that it's a lot of things that kids are missing now. We had when I was in public school, we had sewing, we had driver's ed, we had all these things that like skills. They were teaching us skills too. That's missing now, and so that conversation needs to come back, right? Because not all kids want to go to college. Trade schools, just teaching trades, teaching different things, making it where it's not just we're sitting at a desk, we're learning. So the conversation needs to be how can we revamp education as a whole, right? What are students missing as far as just not academically, but other social emotional things as well.
I wish more people were talking about AI in the classroom.
Okay.
I think it's scary for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's this idea that if not used properly, our students will not develop the skills needed to do things independently. And I think that there's a lot of ways to use AI effectively in the classroom and to show students how to use it and fact check it too, because it's not always correct. So like even with our research project for MLK, a lot of our students would search up, okay, what did he do in 1968, right? Or what happened? And then AI generates a blurb, right? Oh, Martin Luther King did or was assassinated. And no, dive deeper, go below, search, like go into the articles, find that. Is that correct with what AI is telling you? We use Canva a lot, so they can use that. They have an idea, and then AI can kind of bring it to life. So there's a lot of ways to use it as a learning tool, and it's not something that we should be scared of, but we have to teach our students that they have to bring their own ideas first, and then enhance it, and then check it. Yes. So I think that's something that needs to be brought to the conversation because it's not going anywhere, but we just have to evolve around it or with it. So
thank you so much. Is there something you wanted to add?
I would like to just give a special announcement to think a couple of people that may be watching this podcast.
Of course.
First I want to thank Iman, right? Yeah. She was somebody who mentored us through Kind Economy, and through her we went to Kind Con, and Victoria had us write these letters, and I just would like to read mine because it just came in the mail. And so because of Kind Con, we were able to write ourselves letters to our future selves, and also write letters to people that we want to thank in the future. And I just want to read mine because I just experienced a loss, so I just want to read it. It says, "Dear Dad, thank you for being an inspiration and light for me and our family. Your support helped guide me along the way. You're my community, and I don't know where I would be without you. I pray that I will be able to show you how much I appreciate all that you've done." And so I just would like to say thank you to everybody that has just poured into us, especially my family, but also, like I said, like Iman and then Rocco's mom, who definitely introduced you to us and brought you to us. So I would just like to take the time to thank our community, my sister, anyone you can think of.
Yeah, definitely my family. We took a leap of faith.
Yes.
This is our first year, our inaugural year. So this has been a tremendous test of faith, and also a testament to our community, our family, my mom, the support that we've had when we are just starting, and not even just financial support, but just a sound ear, a helping hand. We're just so thankful. We're thankful for our families that they trusted us. They trusted without seeing, a true test of faith, really, right? Yes. And they are so thrilled with the outcome so far, and they're happy, and we want to continue and welcome them next year, and
our new
families next year. Yeah. So we're excited, and we're just thankful.
And thank you for meeting with us too.
Yes, thank you for having me and inviting me in your space and sharing your heart with me.
Yes,
because sometimes it's hard to do. But definitely tell parents where they can find you, because I know I don't ask all the questions, but sometimes maybe other people have questions for you. How can they contact you?
Absolutely. So we are actually opening up enrollment towards the end of January. So you can find that information on www.i3academics.org is our website. To put in an interest form and then sit down for a consultation for enrollment. We also are on social media.
If you want to learn a lot more about us, we have a lot of our working with our students on there. So our handles are i3 Academics. So you can find us on
TikTok,
Instagram, Facebook. Yeah, so you can go back and look at some of the lessons that we taught and the activities that we brought into our school.
So thank you so much for being on the podcast. And thank you so much for watching Founder to Founder, and we'll see you on the next one.